Hey, hey.
Yo, what's up? Can you hear me all
Not
right?
much, dude. Yeah, I can hear you all right.
All right, good stuff. So, we're getting started here with a lesson. I have PTaco joining me here on the mic. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about analyzing replays. So, let me ask you, what is the reason that you wanted this lesson?
The main reason I wanted this lesson is because I want to be able to look at my own footage and know exactly how to improve my game plan based off the mistakes I make for my own gameplay without resorting to like obvious stuff like, oh well, I shouldn't have rolled here, or like I shouldn't have gone for this offstage punish instead of staying on stage. Maybe like getting more into the whys of why I do specific things, and then letting that information direct my game plan from the future.
That's good, that's good. One thing that I would say it's very important is that it's something that doesn't really get highlighted much, but it's something you probably noticed as well, but like there's going to be obviously times that you say, I shouldn't have rolled here, or I shouldn't have done this specific thing. But what we often miss is that it's not just that one thing that resulted in us losing.
Yeah,
It's so many minor factors.
exactly.
So it's good that you're aware of that already. So what I spoke to PTaco here before was that one very important thing about analyzing replays is that replays in Smash Bros are very unwieldy. So it's always important to convert them into a video form somehow, because videos have a wonderful feature that replays don't, and that wonderful feature is the ability to rewind. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen right here, so you can see exactly what's going on my view.
All right, I'll let you know when I can see it. No, okay, I can see it.
Actually, hold up a second. One minor adjustment that I need to do.
Okay.
Turn off sound. We don't need sound.
Okay.
Okay. So, everything looks clear enough?
Yeah.
Okay. So, let's get right off the bat. So, one thing that I'm going to say first off is that Wi-Fi is a completely different beast from local play. There's going to be things that you might notice here that maybe don't apply to your local play because, different reaction times, different windows, different play styles. Because, like, for example, here, you're the Joker, right? You're fighting the
Correct.
Snake. Snake is a zoner. And oftentimes, zoners on Wi-Fi, especially like Snake players, they're going to zone, they're going to rush forward and go in at ranges that normally you'd be able to react to offline, but they swing wildly at, and it's kind of hard to keep up with them. But we'll see what we can get from this.
Okay.
So, before we get started, I want to say that the main things that you can look at, like the very basic number one thing you can look for is the moments where you got hit. That's kind of a very basic way of putting it, but in general it's like, what caused you to lose your ground? What caused you to lose your advantage? Where did your opponent catch you slack? What were they doing? What were they looking for? What did they get caught? But the most basic way of putting it is, why did you get hit? So let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
So right here you're doing a little bit of light zoning, but I'm noticing that you're okay. Here you're fine. You jump in, you close distance. This right here was a little dangerous because you threw out an attack. And there's no reason to throw out an attack when it's not going to hit. Like, you could be trying to bait him, but like, you're not at any range where he has to be scared of you. You're Joker, your attacks aren't that big. So here, this attack, all it did was put you in lag. We spoke at length before about like the fundamentals of the game, but there's been a slightly different approach that I've been taking lately when I've been teaching it, and I wanna take a moment to talk about this. So we spoke about stage control.
Correct.
Did we speak about? Well, that's stage control is positional advantage. Did we speak about the other main advantage that you need to look for? Frame advantage.
Not in a lot of detail.
Okay, so I want to take a moment to talk about that.
Okay.
So, frame advantage at its most basic way of putting it is if you can if you can threaten your opponent faster than they can threaten you, you have a frame advantage over them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you would think, like, for example, let's say let's say I'm playing as Shulk, you're playing as Luigi. You could think, okay, I always have a frame advantage against him because Shulk has really slow startup data and I have really fast startup data, probably the fastest in the game. But obviously that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because it's not just about who has the buttons that go faster, it's so many things. It's about movement speed. How far can you put your buttons? How big are your buttons? What are you doing that are making your buttons run slower? So, for example, you right here in this situation where you jump in, or let's say right here when you throw out your side B.
Mm-hmm.
Side B, you put out an active hitbox, but it has a lot of lag, where you're only able to move around if you're in the air.
Uh-huh.
So when you get put in the air like this, I mean, when you put yourself in this much lag, your next option is delayed. And because your next option is delayed, you have a massive frame disadvantage. So if Snake were to run forward and block your attack, then you'd be in a position where the only options you had available to you were defensive options, because he has a slight edge over you. It's the same as even if like you were to land on Snake's shield with an attack with low landing lag like Nair.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're safe for the most part, the only options that you can do safely are going to be options that are defensive in nature, because you need to get out of dodge. If you commit to an offensive option, he's going to be able to beat you up because he has at least 5 frames of advantage over you.
Uh-huh.
Also, things like, for example, let's say you're fighting a Mario and you're worried about him dash grabbing you, but he's standing at like dash grab range holding shield. Suddenly, you don't have to fear the dash grab because before he can dash grab, he has to drop his shield.
True.
Or like if you're holding shield, your opponent's in the air, you don't have to worry about them grabbing you because they have to land first. So
unless they have like a Yoshi or Bowser.
Yeah, if they have a command grab or a way to pop your shield, then yeah, it's very dangerous. But like that's matchup dependent. And of course they could always just land and grab, but like you have to be aware of that option.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a general primer on frame advantage, a little bit more detail than we went into before. And the reason I wanted to do this is because in order to be able to properly analyze your replays, you have to know what to look for. You have to be able to understand why things work out certain ways. You could very easily simplify it and say, I got hit here, why did I get hit? Oh, it's because this specific thing. But why is that specific thing bad? Why did it happen? You have to go deeper. And the only way to go deeper is to know all this stuff. You can figure it out as you go along, to trial and error, but I'm trying to give you I'm trying to give you the leg up.
Right, yeah.
This is the importance of a coach. I got you. So, let's go ahead and get started with the actual nitty-gritty.
Okay.
So right here, you throw out that Nair, where you had absolutely no reason to throw out that Nair. And he tried threatening you with the least threatening thing he possibly could have done. Grenade has...
Grenade.
Yeah, Grenade is a threat as it lingers, but it has no way to flinch you. It puts Snake in a frame disadvantage by its very design. If he throws it.
Right.
It's very scary if he holds onto it, but if he throws it, it just acts as a deterrent more than anything else. And if you keep in mind that deterrent in your head, then you'll be fine. Especially with Joker, because you can down B. What the hell? But you're in his face, so I wouldn't recommend it. So anyways, let's see what happens next. What happened here was, notice when he pulls out his grenade. He pulled it out, like, right here. When you threaten him with this, he pulls out the thing, blocks, grabs the grenade, perfect shields your thing, and then throws it. So this grenade has been cooking for a little while. So when you notice here, why did I get hit? Is because he didn't respect the grenade.
Okay.
I noticed that in advance. I probably should have let you... next time you get hit, I'm going to let you break it down. I'm going to let you, like, say, go back to this part. It's like, this is just the example thing. You got hit because you didn't respect the grenade, and because you were threatening him at close range with a frame disadvantage. Consider, you jumped in with a Nair. you blocked, you jumped, threw out another nair, and then tried to attack him. Like, it's a miracle that worked in the first place, because he could have done anything in that moment. But anyways, you got hit. Let's see what happens next. Hold on a second. Can I mute this? Did I think I have the... Do I have the background music playing in the game?
I think you do. I hear it faintly, yeah.
Okay. Let me go ahead and mute that because it's clashing with the actual music that I have in the
Oh, okay.
Elgato. Turn that off. Okay, so let's go back.
Okay.
Because it's still playing on my end.
Oh.
Hold on. I got you. Alright, that should do it.
Okay.
You are completely disrespecting his personal space, but it's working, so I'm not going to say anything. Okay, right there. You got hit. So let's take a step back.
Drop down back air.
Let's take a step back and see why that happened. That's too
Okay.
many steps back. So here you're fine. Do you see what happened there?
Yeah, I attempted to go for an up air, missed, and then was punished with a falling back air while I was in lag.
Now, what could you have done differently there? Is the
Well,
important
he
thing.
wasn't. Okay, well, he was in shield. And the reason I pressured with up air is because I expected him to drop shield.
Now, did you expect him to drop shield in place?
No, I was expecting a jump in, but I was expecting the up air to catch it.
Well, consider the timing that you had here. Like,
Okay.
he was very late in jumping out of shield, and he still got off the ground way before the hitbox even came out. This right here, he could have acted way before he did. You're not going to catch him unless you commit to the full hop. You do a short hop up air, it's not going to reach. If he jumps, it's not going to reach. If he rolls, you're not going to hit him. If he spot dodges, you probably still won't hit him. If he drops shield and stands still, you'll hit him. But
I
like,
see.
it's generally not worth it. You could read the jump. I'm not saying don't, but you got to recognize that he can leave the ground way, way sooner than you think he can.
Okay.
But what gets me is that you stood in place the whole time. And then he got the back air on you. Like, I feel like... Correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't... I know you fast fell here, but doesn't short hop up air auto cancel?
I'm honestly not sure.
It might be full hop that... Well, full hop obviously auto cancels. I think even with a fast fall it'll auto cancel, but I'm not sure about short hop no fast fall. Anyways, that's something to look into. That's maybe a note you want to take to check
Okay.
out afterwards. So let's keep going. You did good. Hold up. Something I want to highlight here. You dropped shield before grabbing him.
Oh, you're right.
You didn't have to do that. Ooh, that was nasty. Let's take another look at that. I want to remember what we talked about frame disadvantage, and I want you to
Yeah.
see what you do here. One very important thing about frame disadvantage that I didn't highlight before is that if you are in lag, you can't do anything. And that's it seems like a stupid thing for me to say, because like obviously if you're in lag you can't do anything. But the important thing to note is that there are many opportunities that present themselves throughout a match. And if you are in lag, you can't take advantage of them. So if you swing at shadows then when the real opportunity presents itself, you will not be there. Oftentimes, you know how people say don't press buttons?
Yeah.
This is why. Don't press buttons means don't give up your frame advantage. Don't give your opponent frame advantage. Keep your options available to you as often as possible when you need them. If your opponent is in a defensive position, if you swing proactively, then it's possible that they're going to get out of dodge, and you're going to give up that position that you had. You're going to give up that slight positional advantage because you let your opponent get back to get back their footing. Something important to keep in mind. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of this. Why did you get hit?
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I get hit by a held grenade while he's holding shield.
It's not a held grenade, it's a dropped grenade.
Okay.
When he pulls out a grenade and blocks, that thing goes straight down behind him.
Okay.
But honestly, I would say, like, not only were you not respecting your, like, you were swinging wildly here, and like, yeah, any of these could have hit him, but like, because you pressed all the buttons in the world, you were not ready for this. You were not looking at your opponent at all and what they were doing. You were just trying to hit them. So that kind of comes into the situation of you did not respect your opponent in that position. You just mashed. You mashed so hard and hit nothing. So let's take a step forward from that. That was a very light hit, but even still. Okay, this song is a little bit too hype for this. Give me a second. There we go. Good song. Did I go far back enough? Nah, I went too far back now. This is where you swing wildly.
Yeah.
Get blown up. Drop down. Jump down. First off, I want to say this right here, very dangerous. Don't land on Snake. Almost ever. Because he's got that up tilt. Very long range. Comes out really fast, does a good amount of damage, puts you in a bad position against Snake. You try that at 110%, he's going to kill you.
Yeah, that actually happens later in the match.
Oh, wonderful. So, moving forward. This right here, what can you tell me about what just happened there?
Okay, so he was in his... Crap, I forgot the actual terminology for it, but... Okay, pratfall state. His options are either to get up in place, roll to left or right, or get up attack.
And every single one of those options beats what you just tried to do.
Okay. So when someone is in pratfall, the ideal situation would be to run up shield?
Run up shield is a good option, but at the same time, you put yourself at a frame disadvantage if you do that. Run up shield is effective if he gets up in place, or if he uses get up attack if your shield is not low, because get up attack does a lot of shield damage.
Okay.
So it's effective in those situations, and it's also effective if he rolls in if you have a good out of shield option. Joker does not. So maybe it's not like you could like out of shield jump back air, and it'll probably catch him, but it's not like the best thing that you could potentially do. I think the one of the best things that you could do is shielding is a good option. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't shield.
Okay.
But oftentimes, like if you're not reading a get up attack, you can get a much better reward by just staying in his vicinity.
Okay.
Or like threatening him by running up to him. Make him want to move. Jump and maybe double jump and chase his landing. React to where he goes. It's hard on Wi-Fi. Don't get me wrong. Especially with how hard you were swinging there. I'm pretty sure that this match was kind of laggy.
Mm-hmm.
So don't get me wrong, but those are options available to you. But the point is, this right here. Did you do this because you recognized that he was in pratfall?
I don't think I did.
You were just swinging at him?
I believe I was just swinging at him.
Okay, so yeah, that right there, very important. Pay attention to your opponents. This is not a single-player game. Your opponent's state determines how you should interact with them. Your opponent's position determines how you should interact with them. The options that are available to him change depending on what he's doing. Like over here, when you were swinging wildly on this platform, you did not respect your opponent's position. You were just trying to swing.
Mm-hmm.
He's over here on a platform. He's Snake. He could drop a grenade at any time. He can block from this position. He can jump away. Notice you jumped away. No, he jumped and you completely missed. And here, if you did not swing, you would have been able to punish him. But then you did a dash attack.
Which I think was probably a misinput, but...
Either a misinput or you were trying to chase him as he landed. Which, honestly, not the worst call, but, like, at some point you need to stop swinging and recognize the position you're in. And this, I think, it honestly just looks like lack of polish, to be honest. Like, it looks like you weren't in full control of your character. You weren't familiar with Joker's movement, and you overcommitted to to covering the position he was in. You moved too far.
Mm-hmm.
How comfortable are you with Joker?
Joker's probably my most played character online so far, but that's still not saying much, considering I haven't played this game probably as much as I should, probably.
I mean, so long as you're having fun. Okay, so if I were to tell you to get to an exact position, let's say on, let's say to jump at an exact position on battlefields from anywhere on the stage as quickly as possible, do you feel that you'd be able to do it without mistakes?
The question was jump to any position on battlefield.
Jump to a specific position that I call out.
Okay.
Do you feel that you'd be able to do it without any mistakes?
With a few exceptions. Mostly, but not entirely.
Okay. In that case, I think you should definitely practice your movement a little bit.
Okay.
Because this is an important note. The fact that you were overshooting constantly, to me, feels like you weren't in full control of your character. So so that right there is something you should write down. I'm not in full control of my character. What do I do about it? You practice your movement until you're fully clear until you're able to move precisely and clearly. Like, Joker isn't a character that you can swing wildly with unless he has a spooky ghost on his back.
Yeah.
When he doesn't have a spooky ghost on his back, he's a precision fighter.
Yeah.
So, we got one very important note from that already.
Okay.
Let's see what else. Moving forward. Okay. Alright. A lot of this is a little strange, but it's working out. Good pokes. That right there was dangerous. Recognize the situation. Recognize what just happened here.
Okay.
Well, what can you tell me about this? Why did you get hit?
So, the forward tilt came because I was expecting him to run back.
No, I have no problems with the forward tilt. The forward tilt was well placed. Even though it didn't work out, you were covering him in case he walked in. Which, it wasn't something he was able to do. Well, actually no, he walked and shielded. So yeah, it would have worked against almost any other player. That forward tilt was good. I'm not calling you out on that.
Okay.
Let's see what happens after the forward tilt. Because you missed the forward tilt, what do?
Roll back. And then the side B. The side B, I think the issue with it is that I thought the hitbox for it would hit in front first since he was so close. But actually, with that in mind, Joker does have better close-up options. Like jab or grab, mostly.
Remember what I said about side B. Side B puts you in massive lag. So, right here, like, side B on its own isn't that big of a commitment because it does put the active wall in front of you, but the problem is that side B wasn't the only thing you did. Before you side B'd, you rolled. Rolling also puts you in lag. So you went from laggy option to super laggy option as he was closing the distance on you, and you completely missed. Like, if he was slightly closer, he would have hit you with that dash attack, but even if he missed the dash attack, you still were vulnerable to him because you side beat. If you did not side B, you would have been able to get a clear, easy punish off of this. The roll itself wasn't bad. I know why you rolled. You whiffed the forward tilt. And because you whiffed the forward tilt, you wanted to cover yourself. You wanted to get away. It's not necessarily a bad option. There are other options you could have done in that situation. If you wanted to, for example, if you wanted to get away without putting yourself in lag, you could run away.
Okay.
But you chose to roll away. And I'm not saying rolling away is a bad option, but you have to recognize that rolling away puts you in lag. And if you go for another laggy option immediately after rolling away, you're making yourself extremely vulnerable to an approaching opponent. Even if he didn't dash attack and low profile this side B, he could have ran up and shielded, and you still would have been in huge trouble.
Okay.
That's the main takeaway from this.
Okay.
Recognize the options that put you in lag. Frame advantage is like the word of the day right now. Okay. Let's take a look at that moment again real quick.
Okay.
So, it's not just a matter of watching when you get hit. I think it's very important to watch the moments where you lose neutral, or when you lose advantage.
Okay.
Or if you're struggling with disadvantage, like, keep looking at what allows him to set up the thing. Every time you get hit, and every time the state of battle changes, think about why. So let's see what happens here. What can you tell me about what just happened?
Okay, so I went for side B to try to get a safe option first. Then I jumped off stage to attempt to go for a stage spike and missed.
That was not a stage spike attempt. That was a dunk.
Okay.
It's like you positioned yourself for a stage spike attempt, but you went for a downer and completely missed.
Mm-hmm.
So, was it that you went for the stage spike attempt, or that you went for the dunk and missed? Or
Okay,
was
no,
it...
I went for the dunk and missed.
Okay. So, one thing that I can tell you right off the bat about, well, before I go into my explanation, what could you have done better here? Besides not miss.
Let's see.
Because, I mean, obviously, if you didn't miss, this would have worked out beautifully. You would have gotten the kill. But there's a very specific reason why I'm saying don't say not miss.
Mm-hmm.
Because oftentimes you can't help but miss in the situation that you just played out.
Right. So are you asking what I should have done differently before or after I missed?
Before.
Before I missed, okay. I could have held stage control instead of going off stage and going for an off stage kill.
That is a good thing, but there's a very important... Now, I'm going to ask you why holding stage control is better. And it's not just because it's safer.
I'm actually not sure.
It's because it gives you an opportunity to observe your opponent. If you don't know what your opponent is going to do, going off stage and taking a risk like that is less likely to play out in your favor.
I see.
If you had taken a moment to watch your opponent before going for a big commitment like this, you would have been able to know that he would have drifted in and hugged the stage. And it would have made it a lot easier for you to get that dunk in the first place. Or the stage fight.
Okay. Being the second time I would have got him off stage.
The second or the third time, just once you feel that you're confident in your decision.
Okay.
And I'm not saying, like, stay on stage. Like, you can do things to gather information. Like, you could have run off stage and then immediately jump back on stage in order to see what he does when he sees you coming forward.
Okay.
Like, there's things you can do to gather information, but that's the thing. the less information you have, the less likely it is that you'll be able to guess what your opponent's going to do.
True.
So, gathering information, very important. Oftentimes, it's better to just watch your opponent. Put your opponent in a pressure position, see how they react to that pressure, and then you can put your plan into action once you can force them to play into your hands.
Okay.
But because you... Oh, whoops. I pressed the B button. I love Smash Brother! Okay, let's skip forward. Way ahead. Okay, there we go. No. Too far forward still. Is it here?
A little.
There we
before, I
go.
think. Yeah.
But yeah, you lost advantage. So whatever.
Yeah.
We now know why you lost advantage. We know what you could have done better. So you got what you got two very important lessons so far. Well, three very important lessons. So far you need to think more about frame advantage and not putting yourself in lag needlessly and keeping your options open. That's one very huge point. 2 is your movement, or maybe not so much your actually yeah. Your movement is not precise enough. Maybe you could work a little bit on precision and proper spacing with Joker, but it could also be another thing in that you're not, maybe let's say a third point that was not of the 3, so we got 4 points now. The third one is watching your opponent and respecting what they're doing, observing what they're doing. Not just like in the observation sense of what are they doing under pressure, but like they're not a training mode dummy. This is a multiplayer game.
Yeah.
So watch your opponent because he's another player, and watch your opponent because you don't know what they're going to do. So that's 2 very similar but very different points. So anyways, you got him back off stage. And again, you went off stage without gathering information. And let me tell you, he did a really stupid move here. If you had taken a moment to watch and react to what he did, you would have gotten this stupid easy punish. Because what's he doing? What was that? That's the most brainlet offstage snake play I've ever seen. That would have been an easy stock for you if you didn't jump off stage with him.
So the proper response would have been to wait and then go for a back air, right?
Yeah. Like if you had in this position after the back throw, jumping backwards off stage, maybe not the right call. What my song got. Maybe not the best song for this, but let's see what I can do with it. Alright, this one. I like this one. So, if just already jumping off stage, not the best position because now you have to double jump. And when you double jumped, normally you could have double jumped on stage, but you double jumped off stage, so you completely removed every single option you had available to you in the hopes of catching him. Which, honestly, you had not a chance in hell in catching him unless you drifted forward. So, it's Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi, I'm gonna say. Like, offline, maybe that would have connected. But even then, what would you prefer? Landing an up air in this position and putting yourself off stage? Or landing a back air and getting the kill?
True, yeah.
Observation is very important when you don't know what the opponent's going to do. And it's like you could jump to try to threaten him, but make sure you're jumping from a position that you can return. Because, like, there's a very big difference between jumping off stage like you did here and jumping on stage. Because, like, if you had stayed near the ledge, or if you, like, from this position after the back throw, if you ran forward to the ledge and did, like, a turnaround jump and landed on stage, he still would have been threatened because he sees the movement and he's scared of you going for the offstage back air. So he still would have double jumped. But you would have retained all of your options. And from that point, you can react. And if he does something stupid like pull out a grenade, he dies. Because like normally any other player would have air dodge, would have had their air dodge available to them in this position. Not this guy. He gave up his air dodge the moment he pulled out the grenade. At least for the moment he pulled out the grenade. But yeah, if you had stayed on stage, you kept your options open, you would have killed him right here.
I see.
What was this? Let's take a moment to talk about that. Well, actually, we don't even need to. You can tell me what happened here, right?
Okay, so I forward smashed attempting to catch the get up back on stage. I don't know why I gunned.
That's what I'm wondering. Like, there's not a single option in that position that would use the B button that I can think would work out. Unless you were, like, trying to clip his jump, but, like, by that point, you would already miss. You would already put yourself in frame disadvantage by missing this forward smash. And you're still in a good position, so you could still do something about this, but because you threw out the guns, you let him get off the ledge for free. And if he, instead of trying to attack you like an idiot, if he had jumped over your head, you would have been at a disadvantage.
Okay.
And a slight positional disadvantage, but disadvantage nonetheless.
Yeah.
So, he's an idiot, so we're good still. And again, without observing, you try to go for the impossible up air. Hold on, what happened there? We went too far ahead. Without observing, you go for the impossible up air. He comes down with the worst falling forward air I've ever seen. You completely miss over here. Miss input, I'm assuming. I'm assuming... Yeah. I'm gonna guess what you did. You walked forward, and while still holding forward, you did C-stick in the opposite direction, and it came out as forward tilt the direction you were facing.
More than likely, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I hate that too. I'm not gonna call it out. So you're swinging wildly. Same thing I was talking about. You grabbed a grenade. You didn't respect the fact that you grabbed a grenade. That's awareness. Against Snake, you gotta be aware at all times. And we're back in neutral. So from that whole situation where you were holding advantage, you were doing well, but the only reason you were doing well was because he was bad.
Uh-huh.
If you were a little more patient, you could have gotten you could have killed him like the first time he messed up.
Let's see.
So let's see how neutral plays out this time. Okay. Back in advantage. I'm not gonna fault you for that. But now you know. Now you know. Don't let it happen again.
Up B has a rising hitbox.
Now you know.
That was kind of a small shock for me.
What can you tell me about this?
I was attempting to...
Oh, I know what you were trying to do, but first off, this is so wrong for so many reasons, and I can't even begin to start. So I'm gonna let you start. Why was this wrong?
Okay, so launching him off with the dash attack sends him towards the blast zone. I attempt to run and go for a forward air to catch him off, thinking that I have enough aerial drift to catch him at that position. I overcommit, get hit by a grenade, which kind of ends up saving me.
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine the takeaway from this was that I should have just let him get closer to the stage and then gone for like a ledge punish instead.
Not necessarily. The issue here is a little deeper than what you just described.
Okay.
So, this is a multifaceted fuck up. Like, this... There's so many ways this went wrong, and I'm gonna go through them in order.
Okay.
First off, Notice when you jump off the ledge. You jump off before reaching that semifinal line. So already you're setting yourself for not max distance.
Okay.
You don't hold full forward on that first jump. You only do so on the second jump, so you're not getting the airspeed that you want. So like you were kind of chickening out, but then at the last second you thought, nah, I'm gonna go for it, and then you go for it. But the problem is, one, you're not in range, and two, forward air wouldn't have knocked him out of Cypher armor.
I was not aware of Cypher armor.
That's matchup EXP.
Okay.
So, you didn't notice it here, but Cypher has a certain amount of armor damage that it can take. If your attack does not do enough damage, then it won't knock him out. I'm pretty sure the second hit of forward air does not do enough damage.
Okay.
Let's look that up real quick. UltimateFrameData.com. Let's see. First off, I'm going to look at Snake. Snake up B does not. Oh wait, no, up B. Here we go. Heavy armor. It does not say how much heavy armor it has. I'm gonna look at Kurogane Hammer. See if it has information on Snake.
Okay.
%. If your attack doesn't do 8%, you will not knock him out of the armor.
Okay.
So let's look at Joker. Joker. Here he is. So Joker forward air does 5%. That's not gonna work. That ain't gonna fly. So there's two big things already, and 3 is you didn't know what he was gonna do. So you committed when you didn't have to, when you didn't have all the information.
Okay.
That's 3 things. 1, you didn't reach because you didn't commit. 2, you shouldn't have committed in the first place because you didn't have all the information. And 3, even if you succeeded, it wouldn't have worked.
Okay.
Right here. Okay. Snake's stupid. Snake's stupid. Like, there's nothing else to say about that.
Okay.
It's a spot dodge, should turn around up until, like... Alright, so, new stock. Oh, let's see, what have you learned?
Apparently nothing.
No. You're learning now. Tell me about it.
Okay.
You're watching yourself see... Tell me what happened here.
Okay.
I'm not talking your past self. I'm talking to you. What have you learned?
Okay. I'm again committing to an option without having all the information.
Mm-hmm. Good.
Again, missing the back air. Which again, now that I know about the Cypher armor, I don't know if it would have broken through in the first place.
Well, back here I'm not 100% sure. Let's take a look. Back air does 9%. Back air breaks Cypher armor.
Okay. So that was just a question of just like missing entirely.
Yeah. If you had hit him, you would have been fine, but you didn't. And you hard committed to that miss. And you got punished for it. You're lucky that he pushed you onto the stage in front of him, so you at least were able to retain positional advantage. But then you throw out an up B. I'm not sure why.
I think that was from me trying to mash up B while I was trying to recover, because I wasn't expecting...
Wi-Fi buffer. All right. No, you're fine. You're fine. So, jumping on Snake, we already talked about why that's a bad thing. Right here, you almost got hit by the Cypher again, but you saw it, so you moved. Good. Now this right here. Tell me about this.
Okay. That's just... Okay, so that's a punish for the forward smash being an in-frame disadvantage.
No.
Now, does he jump it?
No.
Okay.
You missed something there.
Okay.
You didn't just forward smash. You forward smashed, and then you jumped. You didn't respect that he was coming down with an attack.
Okay.
So it's very important to be able to go frame by frame on this stuff. Honestly, it's better if you had like the replays or the videos on your computer, because then on an actual video player you can go frame by frame. But here, the most you could do is like pause. But like minute details like that are very important. You did have a frame disadvantage, but the problem wasn't that you got punished for forward smashing. The problem was that you tried doing something after you forward smashed. Mm-hmm. And honestly, you shouldn't have forward smashed in the first place. Like, it hasn't been working out for you. Like, you were reading something without information. So again, acting without information. And 2, not respecting the fact that he was in position to punish you. When you whiff, you gotta be able to get a dodge. You gotta respect, okay, I can't really do anything right now to threaten him. He has a massive frame advantage against me, and I just missed a forward smash. I gotta do something. If you go for an aggressive option like this, or like anything besides like a grounded defensive option, when you have this little amount of time, you're not gonna be able to do anything to stop him. Alright, let's take a look at that. There's not much to say about this one. But what can you tell me about this one?
Okay. So I'm attempting to avoid Nikita. I jump right in front of him and I get hit by an up smash.
Well, you're not necessarily trying to avoid Nikita. Because you block Nikita, and it disappears under your shield. There's no Nikita anymore. You jump out of your shield after blocking the Nikita in order to try to retain your momentum. But there's 2 problems here. First problem is you full hopped. Like I've been saying is a bit of a meme. Don't you love it when you hold the jump button for more than 3 frames and lose neutral? That's kind of what happened here. You wanted to retain your momentum while approaching at a shield, but because you full hopped, you gave him too much time to react to what you were doing. And the other problem is you're not recognized what the snake is doing right now. I want you to just watch the snake. As soon as he lands on the stage, I want you to see what he does.
Okay.
What can you tell me about what he's doing right now?
He's setting up a defensive wall.
Oh, no. I'm not asking you what his tactics are. I'm asking you what he's doing.
Okay.
Because, like, you're reading a little bit too much. You're giving the snake player a little too much credit.
Okay. Okay, he throws out grenades, goes for Nikita, blows up a mine that's behind me, and then runs forward and forward smashes. No, up smashes.
He's pressing buttons. He's pressing every button on his controller, trying to hit you with something. Like, the only thing that could be construed as tactics is the mine behind you, the C4. Everything else, he's literally just pressing buttons at you Like, from the moment he gets off the ledge and jumps on you with a fair, he's pressing a button. He goes for the up tilt, he goes for the up air, throws out the grenade, throws out another grenade, throws out this thing, and like just puts it out there, throws out the explosion, up smashes, throws out an up tilt, even more grenades, even more buttons, pressing every single goddamn button on his controller. Like, the point that I'm trying to say is, you jumped on this man without pressing a single button, trying to respect that he's going to go for, I don't know what you were going for, like an empty hop grab? But he's pressing buttons. You can't empty hop grab someone who's pressing buttons. You can't jump into someone's face without pressing a button if your opponent's pressing every button in the book. You're gonna get hit. The way to approach someone who's playing like this is to stay out of the range of his buttons and punish him. Like, you can whiff punish, that's perfectly fine. You can block, that's perfectly fine. But if you're jumping in his face and not pressing a button, and he's pressing every button in the world, you're going to get hit. And that's exactly what happens here.
Oh, this interaction. I love this one.
What even happened? I thought your down B lasted longer than that.
I don't know what happened. Apparently, I was hit by both a C4 and a Nikita.
The Nikita did not hit you.
It didn't?
No. Watch. It's still there.
Oh, crap. So then...
It's only now that it blows up, after you died. That was only the C4.
So I countered the C4 and died for it?
You did not counter the C4. The counter didn't go off.
Huh. I thought I saw the flash from the counter though.
I'm going to assume that it caught you at the very end of the counter's active frames.
Okay.
So, well. Alright, so you finally got the forward smash. You're taking a bit of damage already. Let's slow it down. Because like sometimes you can fall into autopilot during a long analysis session. Come on, let's see what happens here. What happened?
I ran up. I think I went for a dash grab, and I got blown up by a drop grenade.
Not just a drop grenade. Look a little closer.
Oh, and a back air.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. You didn't get blown up by a dropped grenade. You got blown up by a grenade you picked up.
Oh, shoot.
Awareness is super important against this character. You picked up the grenade with that forward tilt. Like, part of it is listening for the sound, the other part is just looking. Like, that grenade is a little hard to notice. I don't blame you for not noticing that, but like, you have to be aware of the sound, and you have to be aware of the visuals. Because like this right here, you threw a grenade at his shield. Because you weren't aware of that, and then you got blown up. Like, that's insult to injury.
Yeah.
But it's okay, you converted decently. Now, I want you to see the difference between this up air and every other up air you've attempted on the platform.
Okay.
Well, tell me what's different.
Okay, I went for an angle that covered both escaping and... No. Actually, no. The angle that I approach at is between the left and middle platforms, approaching from the center.
I'm not interested in the angle, I'm interested in the height.
That's a full hop. That's
a full hop. You can actually catch his jumps if you full hop from that position. This is an easy game, man. Like, I know you're trying to look deep into it, but like on the surf, you gotta scratch the surface before you can go deeper.
Okay.
All these next level tactics don't apply if like you don't see the very basics. Next level tactics can go like if your opponent is thinking on the same level at you. I guess let's put it this way. You want to think on the level above your opponent, the level directly above your opponent. If you think 2 levels ahead of your opponent, then your opponent thinking 1 level below will destroy you. Yo, did we talk about Yomi?
We did talk about Yomi. I do remember that conversation.
If you try pulling these like galaxy brain plays and someone just presses the A button, you're gonna lose. Okay. Let's see. Let's take a different approach here. Instead of looking about why you got hit, let's think about what you did right.
Okay.
Why did this work?
Okay, there was a small dash dance there to weave out of his range. I saw he was holding shield and went for a grab.
What's interesting to me is that he dropped shield here. He didn't roll away. He didn't jump. He wasn't scared of you. And the reason is because of that small dash dance. When you went backwards, he took it as an opportunity to catch you because you backed off. He took it as an opportunity to close the distance. And because of Wi-Fi delay or whatever, he dropped shield late and you grabbed him. You always gotta recognize Wi-Fi delay in there, but honestly, in general, that was well placed.
Okay.
You did not commit to the approach until you were sure it was going to work.
Okay.
That's why it worked out. If you had just ran forward and pressed the button, then you would have had maybe a 50-50 chance. Or maybe not even. If he had backed off and thrown a grenade or something like that, then you would have been in trouble. But because you backed off for a second, you gave yourself more time to think, you gave him something to react to that wasn't your actual intention. That was good.
Okay. That was a misinput.
Let me see.
That up B, that looks really stupid, and why would you ever do that? I asked myself that same question the moment it happened.
Yeah. Alright. Good call. Good call. I like that you went for the forward tilt here instead of the forward smash. Because you didn't have enough time to do anything else. You were able to pressure him into shield. And you rolled away because you recognized that you weren't safe. And then... I don't like that forward smash, but it worked. So I'm not going to comment on it.
Yeah, smarter option probably would have been to hold shield, probably.
Well, not hold shield, just... You don't have to press a button in that situation.
Oh, okay.
The moment you get out of dodge, you can watch what he does. And if he rushes forward with an attack like that, you can then forward smash on a reaction. It's harder on Wi-Fi. I don't blame you going for the forward smash. It was the option that worked on Wi-Fi. If you tried to punch down a reaction on Wi-Fi, it wouldn't have worked. But offline, the right call was to not press a button.
Okay.
So let's see where this goes. You're playing so much better now. Okay, good. Okay, bad. That's the moment where it all went downhill. What can you tell me about that?
Okay.
Because that wasn't the same thing that happened before. You didn't jump in his face pressing no buttons. That was a very tangible button press. It just wasn't a good one.
Yeah. It was an approaching full hop forward tilt. No, not forward tilt, forward air. Against a forward smash.
It wasn't just like a an approaching. It wasn't just an advancing fair. It was an advancing spaced fair. Like, you could have definitely committed further to that, but you didn't. You put yourself in a position where you missed. I'm not sure if it's because you were trying to cover his advancing approach, but just know that the position that you covered was that fair would only hit him if he jumped in.
I see.
He's Snake. Is he going to jump in? What's he going to jump in with? Fair?
True, Snake does prefer grounded options.
If he does jump in with fair, you're getting hit. And you don't want to trade with his fair. His fair is a lot scarier than yours.
Okay.
And from that point, you were honestly out of options.
Yeah.
The only thing you possibly could have done to save yourself was an air dodge from the blast zone to put yourself in a better position to recover.
Mm-hmm.
So we spent a lot of time looking over that replay, but I mean, obviously, if we're not taking every few moments to go over like a teaching opportunity, you're gonna go through these a lot faster.
Right.
So we're pretty much out of time for the lesson. Is there any final questions that you wanted to cover? Like anything that maybe you didn't quite understand?
I definitely understood the specific things of what I was doing. Mostly committing to options without having full knowledge of what the opponent likes to do. Throwing out attacks or otherwise laggy options when I don't have to, because the opponent hasn't actually done anything. And then, aside from that, those were the two main takeaways I took from this approach. I suppose the only other thing I could think of would be...
There were 4 things that we talked about earlier.
Okay. You also mentioned Yomi, which I remember.
That's less of an issue with the way you were playing, and more of an issue with the way you were thinking.
Okay.
You're trying to think at a deeper level than you currently are.
I see. And
because of that, there's a lot of very basic stuff that you're overlooking. It's like I'm gonna give you a personal allegory. So I'm an instrumentalist. I'm a viola player. Mm-hmm. I went to college for studying music theory, and while I was there, I played the viola. Now, I played the viola a very long time, since I was in middle school, from 6th grade. And when I did not have any private lessons along the way, so I wasn't a very good violist. However, my passion was music theory and composition, so I really wanted to get into college to study that. But in order to do that, I needed to have a certain level of proficiency with my instrument. So whatever, I worked hard, and I got there just barely. And I was very stunted in terms of my ability to play, but I was accepted on a provisional basis, and over time, it grew slowly. Now, while I was in college, I was getting lessons from people that were very, very skilled performers. And when I was in a side program, I got lessons from a very, very skilled performer. And the issue with these lessons was that because they were so skilled and used to teaching players that are at a significantly higher caliber than I was, they were teaching me things that I didn't need yet. They were telling me to think about things that I didn't need yet. I needed to focus on the fundamental aspects of it. I needed to get some nitty-gritty corrections in what I was doing, like the kind of stuff you would teach a child. Because more or less I learned on my own, and for that kind of instrument you can't. And it wasn't until my 3rd year at college that I got a different teacher, a friend of mine, who noticed that I was struggling for a while and thought that he could help me out in a lesson, and he told me, okay, I see what you're doing wrong. This, and this. And boom, my head exploded. Because thank you for finally not looking beyond the goddamn surface and trying to find out all these philosophical reasons of why I might be lacking my skills, and finally telling me the fact that I was using a pickaxe to dig a hole. You know? Like, if the problem is so simple and you start looking at like the finer details, like if you look at a crater with a magnifying glass, you're gonna miss the point entirely.
True. Yeah.
That's one of the main takeaways I want you to take in terms of analysis.
Okay.
Oftentimes, the issue is a lot simpler than you might think it is.
Okay.
But I'm not saying that as an excuse to not dig deeper. You should always try to dig as deep as you can, but start somewhere. Start with the big picture and zero in from there, otherwise you lose the point.
Okay.
But yeah, the other takeaways that I mentioned were you weren't watching your opponent, you were treating it as a single player game, you were just trying to smack them, you weren't aware of what was going on around you.
Uh-huh.
And the other one was you didn't take a moment to watch your opponent before you strike. You didn't attack your opponent with information. You didn't try to condition them at all. You didn't watch what they did when they were in a bad position where their options are limited. And if you don't watch, if you don't condition, and if you don't adjust the way that you're playing, you're not going to be able to take advantage of your opponent. The whole reason that the whole thing behind the advantage state, it's an advantage because your opponent's options are limited compared to yours. Because when you have positional advantage and frame advantage, your opponent's options are that much smaller. And if your opponent can only do like 5 reasonable things that aren't kill themselves, then it's going to be a lot easier for you to guess what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm. So basically my issue right now is that instead of trying to condition my opponent or trying to observe my opponent and then exploit their game plan, right now my strategy is literally just hit them.
Yes. And you're not doing a very good job of taking of exploiting your advantage over them as a result. You're just it's like you're approaching the advantage state the same way you approach a training mode dummy. I'm not even gonna say like the same way you approach neutral, because that is a problem with a lot of people. But like you definitely seem a little bit more nuanced in neutral. It's just when you are in advantage, you swing, and that's not good. Because you're not going to be able to take advantage of your opponent if you do that.
Okay.
The whole, like, you have a frame advantage, you have a positional advantage. If you want to get the most bang for your buck and hold advantage for as long as possible, you have to abuse those. You have to exploit, not abuse. I feel like you're abusing it right now. You're kind of just taking it for granted. You have to exploit it. On that note, we're pretty much out of time. So I really hope this is helpful. And if there's anything that you might be wondering in the future regarding analyzing stuff, feel free to ask me anytime.
Oh, definitely. This has been helpful. Yeah, definitely. I have other comments I'd like to make, but they're less related to the lesson itself. So I suppose I'll just save that for another time.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after the stream. I'm gonna go ahead and shut down because it's getting late anyways.
All right.
And there's, all right. Well, take care of yourself, man.
Thanks dude. You too.